The silent planet. The crystalline spires of Nova Crystallis pierced the violet sky like frozen lightning, their once brilliant surfaces now dulled by the encroaching cold. First speaker Lizara pressed her translucent appendage against the observation dome's surface, feeling the weakening vibrations of her dying world. The planet's core, which had sustained her species for millennia through its resonant energy, was cooling far faster than their models had predicted. In the depths of the crystal chamber, the emergency council of the Norveri gathered, their bodies glowing with diminishing bioluminescence. The chamber, once a symphony of light and resonant frequencies, now held only whispers of its former glory. The great crystalline networks that allowed their species to share consciousness and memory were failing, one node at a time. The last sector in the southern hemisphere went silent today, announced second speaker Ven, his crystalline form barely pulsing with the words, 3 million of our people, their memories and consciousness, lost to the void. At this rate, we have perhaps one stellar cycle before total systemic failure. Lizara's form dimmed in grief. The Norveri had achieved remarkable technological advancement through their crystal technology, but they had always worked in harmony with their world's natural energies. The thought of artificially replacing their planet's core energy was as alien to them as breathing water. The resonance beacons, she asked, though she already knew the answer. Still broadcasting, third speaker Myra responded, her form shifting through shades of deep purple. We've been sending our distress signals through the crystal arrays for over 3 cycles now. The energy signatures reach far into space, but she paused, her crystalline surface rippling with uncertainty. We are so far from the established trade routes. Even if someone detected our signals, what could they do? The Norveri had never developed traditional space travel. Their bodies, attuned to their world's specific resonance frequencies, couldn't survive long in the void. Their few attempts at establishing colonies on nearby moons had ended in tragedy, the colonists' bodies shattering when disconnected from their homeworld's energy field for too long. Lizara was about to call for another round of emergency conservation measures when a junior resonator burst into the chamber, their form blazing with excitement. First speaker. The long-range arrays. They've detected something. Multiple objects, entering the system at velocities we've never recorded before. The council rushed to the observation interfaces. Through their crystal networks, they could feel the approaching objects. Massive constructs of metal and energy, moving in ways that defied their understanding of physics. They're responding to our beacons, Ven announced, his form brightening momentarily. But the signal pattern, I've never seen anything like it. It's not crystalline-based at all. It's crude, mechanical. Through their failing networks, the Norveri received their first message from humanity. It came not in the elegant resonance patterns they were accustomed to, but in rough electromagnetic bursts that their systems struggled to translate. This is the Earth Fleet ship Hyperion responding to your distress signal. We've detected critical planetary core destabilization. We have experience with similar situations. We can help. Please respond with landing coordinates. The council chamber erupted in a cascade of colors and frequencies. Hope, that most dangerous of emotions, began to spread through the crystal networks. Their prayers into the void had been answered, not by the advanced crystalline civilizations they had dreamed of finding, but by beings who traveled in metal ships and communicated through electromagnetic noise. As the human fleet approached their dying world, first speaker Lizara felt something she hadn't experienced in a very long time. Resonance with the unknown. Perhaps, she thought, watching the strange ships descend through their violet atmosphere. Salvation didn't always come in expected forms. The Norveri were about to learn that sometimes the most powerful solutions came not from perfect harmony, but from embracing the beautiful chaos of difference. First contact protocols. The human ships descended through the violet atmosphere like metal leviathans, their hulls reflecting the light of the dying sun. The Norveri watched in fascination as these vessels, so different from anything in their crystalline archives, settled onto the designated landing plane with surprising grace for their size. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the forward viewport of the Hyperion, studying the crystalline city before her. Years of deep space exploration had prepared her for many things, but the sight of an entire civilization built from living crystal still took her breath away. The preliminary scans had barely done it justice. Structural integrity of their central spires is down to 60%, her chief engineer, Dr. James Rodriguez, reported. The crystal lattice is showing signs of severe stress. Whatever's happening to their planet's core is affecting everything connected to it. Life signs? Sarah asked, adjusting the environmental controls of her suit. Stable, but weakening. Their biology is remarkable. They're silicon-based, but with a level of complexity we've never encountered. Their entire civilization seems to be one interconnected crystalline network. The first meeting between species took place in what the Norveri call the Harmony Chamber, a vast hall whose walls pulsed with weakening bioluminescence. The human delegation, led by Commander Chen, faced the Norveri Council across a bridge of pure crystal that somehow held itself in midair. First Speaker Lysara's form shifted through shades of blue as she attempted to modulate her resonance patterns to something the humans' translators could process. The resulting communication was crude by Norveri standards, but effective. "We welcome you to Nova Crystallis," she projected, her words converted to sound waves by the humans' devices. "Though we wish it were under better circumstances." Sarah stepped forward, her movements careful in the lighter gravity. "We're honored to be here, First Speaker. We've brought our best scientists and engineers. But first, we need to understand exactly what we're dealing with." The next hours were a crash course in Norveri physics and biology. The humans learned that the crystalline beings before them were part of a vast neural network, their consciousness existing both in their individual forms and throughout their planet's crystal matrices. The cooling core wasn't just an environmental crisis, it was threatening the very foundation of their shared consciousness. "Your bodies," Dr. Rodriguez observed, "they're in quantum resonance with the planet's core frequency." "Yes," Third Speaker Myra pulsed. "It is how we share thoughts, memories, our very essence. As the core cools, the resonance weakens. We begin to fade." The human scientists exchanged looks that the Norveri's empathic senses couldn't quite interpret. "Show us your core monitoring stations," Sarah requested. "We need to see the data firsthand." In the depths of their monitoring chamber, humans and Norveri worked to bridge their vastly different technological approaches. The Norveri's organic crystal technology was elegant, operating on principles of quantum harmony that human science was only beginning to theorize about. But it was the humans' crude instruments that finally revealed the full scope of the crisis. "The problem isn't just the cooling," Dr. Rodriguez announced, studying his readings. "Your core's fusion reactions are becoming desynchronized. The resonance field that powers your civilization, it's not just failing, it's falling into chaos. Can you help us?" Lysara asked, her form dimming with worry. Sarah stepped closer to the crystal display, her reflection fragmenting across its faceted surface. "Yes," she said firmly. "But our solution, it won't be what you're expecting. It's not about restoring harmony. Sometimes you need to introduce a controlled chaos to restart a failing system." The Norveri Council rippled with alarm at the concept. Their entire civilization was built on principles of harmony and resonance. The idea of intentionally introducing chaos seemed almost sacrilegious. "Your core needs a jump start," Sarah continued. "We've developed technology to stabilize failing planetary cores, but it's not gentle. It involves directed plasma injections and controlled quantum detonations. It will save your world, but it will change it too. The resonance frequencies won't be exactly the same afterward." First Speaker Lysara's form pulsed with rapid colors as she processed this information. The choice before them was stark: maintain their principles of harmony and face extinction, or embrace the humans' chaotic solution and survive as something slightly different than before. "How long do we have to decide?" she asked. Sarah's expression was grave. Based on our readings, 3 days at most before the core destabilization becomes irreversible. The harmony chamber, for the first time in its history, filled with discordant frequencies as the council debated their options. The humans waited patiently, their presence a reminder that sometimes salvation required embracing the unknown. Finally, Lizara's form stabilized into a deep, determined blue. "We accept your help, Commander Chen. Teach us your chaos." Operation Deep Core. The caverns beneath Nova Crystallis buzzed with an unprecedented mixture of harmonics and mechanical noise. Human drilling equipment, modified to work with the planet's crystalline structure, carved paths through ancient crystal formations, while Norveri resonators tried to maintain stability in the surrounding networks. Dr. Rodriguez stood before a holographic display of the planet's core, his face illuminated by its pulsing red warnings. "The tricky part isn't just reaching the core," he explained to the assembled human Norveri team. "It's maintaining your crystalline networks while we do it. One wrong frequency and we could shatter half your communication grid." Second speaker Ven's form shimmered with concern. "Our people are already struggling with the vibrations from your machines. The resonance patterns are disturbing." Commander Chen watched as another crystal node in the network turned from blue to red on their monitoring screens. They were losing chunks of the Norveri's communication grid faster than expected. The human solution might save their world, but at what cost to their civilization? "What if we synchronize them?" Lieutenant Maya Patel, a quantum communications specialist, stepped forward. Her time studying the Norveri's crystal technology had given her an idea. Not the machines with the crystals, but the crystals with the machines. The Norveri Council members pulsed with interest as Maya explained her theory. Their crystalline technology was based on harmony, yes, but harmony could be achieved even with seemingly chaotic elements. It wasn't about eliminating the discord of the human machines, but about incorporating it into a new kind of resonance. Work began immediately. While the main engineering team continued their preparations for the core restart, Maya worked with a group of Norveri resonance masters to develop interface crystals that could translate between mechanical vibrations and crystalline harmonics. It was delicate work. More than one crystal shattered in the testing phase, but gradually they found the balance. "The interface crystals are holding," Maya reported, 3 days into the operation. "We're ready to begin the main descent." The descent into the planet's depths was like nothing either species had attempted before. Human drilling platforms, now surrounded by rings of synchronized crystals, carved their way through the planet's crust. Norveri resonators extended their consciousness through the crystal networks, helping navigate around crucial nodes and maintaining stability in the surrounding matrix. At the halfway point, they hit their first major crisis. The vibrations from the drilling, despite their best efforts at harmonization, triggered a cascade failure in one of the main crystal networks. Thousands of Norveri suddenly lost their connection to the shared consciousness, their forms dimming in confusion and fear. "We're out power to the backup nodes," Sarah ordered as alarms blared through the human equipment. "Maya, we need those interface crystals at maximum capacity." The Norveri resonance masters worked frantically, their forms blazing with effort as they tried to establish new pathways through the remaining networks. For tense hours, it seemed as if the entire operation might fail, taking a significant portion of Norveri civilization with it. Then something unexpected happened. The interface crystals, stressed beyond their design specifications, began to evolve. The combination of human mechanical energy and Norveri resonance created new crystalline structures, forming bridges between the damaged networks. "This is impossible," Dr. Rodriguez whispered, staring at his readings. "The crystals are reconfiguring themselves at the quantum level. They're creating hybrid pathways that use both our energy signatures." First speaker Lizara's form pulsed with wonderment as she observed the new formations. "Not impossible," she corrected. "Simply a harmony we hadn't imagined before." The crisis passed, but it left behind something revolutionary. a new form of crystal technology that combined human industrial power with Norveri quantum resonance. As they continued their descent toward the core, both species began to realize that this mission would do more than save a planet. It would fundamentally change both civilizations. The final approach to the core chamber was almost anticlimactic after the earlier drama. The human-Norveri hybrid technology worked flawlessly, allowing them to bypass the most dangerous energy fluctuations. When they finally breached the core chamber, the sight left both species in awe. Before them swirled a massive sphere of crystalline plasma, its once brilliant light now flickering like a dying star. This was the heart of Nova Crystallis, the source of power that had given birth to the Norveri civilization. And now, it was about to be reborn through the combined efforts of two very different species. Sarah turned to Lazara, their reflections merging in the chamber's crystalline walls. "Are you ready for chaos?" The first speaker's form stabilized into a deep, determined purple. "We are ready for a new harmony." The price of progress. The core chamber of Nova Crystallis thrummed with power as the human engineering team made their final preparations. The massive plasma injection devices, each one modified with the new hybrid crystal technology, stood ready to deliver their payload into the dying heart of the planet. All injection points synchronized. Dr. Rodriguez reported, his voice tense. "Quantum harmonics are holding steady through the interface crystals. We're as ready as we'll ever be." Commander Chen stood at the main control station, surrounded by screens showing various measures of core stability, crystal network integrity, and planetary stress levels. The Norveri Council members floated nearby, their forms pulsing with a mixture of hope and apprehension. "Once we begin," Sarah explained, "there's no stopping the cascade. The core will either stabilize at a new resonance frequency or our civilization ends today instead of next week." First speaker Lazara completed, her crystalline form shifting to a deep indigo of resolve. "Proceed, Commander." Sarah took a deep breath. "Maya, start the harmonic press sequence. James, bring the plasma injectors to full power. On my mark." The first stage of the operation went exactly as planned. The hybrid crystals channeled the plasma energy in perfect synchronization, their human-made components providing raw power, while their Norveri aspects maintained quantum harmony. The core's dim light began to brighten, its swirling patterns becoming more vigorous. Then everything went wrong. Power spike in the Western injection array. Maya shouted as alarms blared through the chamber. "The new frequency is causing harmonic feedback in the crystal networks." Throughout the city above, crystal spires began to resonate at increasingly dangerous frequencies. The Norveri population, connected through these networks, experienced waves of disorientation as their shared consciousness fluctuated wildly. "The feedback is spreading through the entire planetary network," Ven reported, his form flickering with distress. "We're losing stability in all major nodes." Sarah's mind raced through possibilities. The operation was past the point of no return. Stopping now would cause a catastrophic collapse. But continuing under these conditions might shatter the very civilization they were trying to save. "Lieutenant Patel," she called, "what happens if we push more power through the interface crystals?" Maya's eyes widened. The crystals would probably burn out. But before they did, she quickly ran calculations through her tablet. They might be able to act as a buffer, absorbing the harmonic feedback. That would destroy months of work. Dr. Rodriguez protested. "The hybrid technology can be rebuilt." Sarah cut him off. "Maya, do it. Divert all power through the interface crystals. Lazara, we need your resonators to help channel the feedback." The chamber erupted into activity. Human engineers worked frantically to reroute power, while Norveri resonators extended their consciousness into the crystal networks, preparing to handle the massive energy transfer. The interface crystals began to glow with impossible brightness as they absorbed the harmonic feedback. One by one, they started to shatter, each crystalline fragment dissolving into pure energy that fed back into the core. The Norveri resonators, guided by Lazara, wove this energy into the planet's existing frequencies, creating new patterns of stability. Core temperature rising. Dr. Rodriguez reported, his voice rising with excitement. Fusion reactions are restarting. Harmonics are beginning to stabilize at a new frequency. Through the crystal networks, the Norveri could feel their world changing. The resonance that had sustained them for millennia was shifting, becoming something new, not better or worse, just different. It was like learning to think in a new language, one that incorporated both the elegant harmonies of their past and the dynamic chaos of human innovation. As the last interface crystal shattered, the core flared with blinding light. For a moment, every crystal structure on Nova Crystallis sang with pure, unified energy. Then the light settled into a steady, strong glow, brighter than before the crisis began. Core stability at 95% and holding, Maya announced, her voice weak with exhaustion. New resonance patterns they're beautiful. The Norveri Council members extended their consciousness through the renewed networks, exploring the changed landscape of their planetary mind. The shared consciousness was stronger than ever, but fundamentally altered. Where before there had been perfect crystalline order, now there was a dynamic harmony that embraced both stability and change. We succeeded, Sarah breathed, finally allowing herself to relax. But the cost was worth it, Lizara interrupted, her form glowing with a new vitality. Look around you, Commander. The shattered remains of the interface crystals were already beginning to reform, growing into new structures that naturally combined both human and Norveri principles. The hybrid technology hadn't been destroyed. It had evolved. Your chaos and our harmony, Lizara continued. They weren't opposites at all. They were complementary forces waiting to find their proper balance. Our civilization isn't just saved, it's transformed. Legacy of Two Worlds. 1 year after the great transformation of Nova Crystallis, the crystalline spires of the capital city sparkled with renewed vigor under the light of the stabilized sun. But it wasn't just the buildings that had changed. The entire civilization had evolved in ways no one could have predicted. Commander Sarah Chen stood in the newly constructed Harmony Hall, marveling at how the structure seamlessly blended human and Norveri technology. Crystalline computers interfaced directly with Earth equipment, creating systems more powerful than either species had achieved alone. Around her, humans and Norveri worked side by side, their differences becoming their greatest strength. The latest test results are extraordinary, Dr. Rodriguez reported, gesturing to a holographic display that emerged from a crystal matrix. The hybrid technology we developed during the crisis, it's revolutionizing everything from quantum computing to space travel. First speaker Lizara's form shimmered with pride as she joined them. The new resonance patterns of her world had changed her people's crystalline structures, making them more resilient and adaptable than ever before. Our scientists have begun applying the principles of controlled chaos to other aspects of our technology. We've even managed to create small, portable crystals that can maintain our consciousness connection off-world. This was perhaps the most profound change. The Norveri were no longer bound to their planet. The fusion of human industrial power and Norveri quantum harmonics had created new possibilities for their species' survival and growth. The first Norveri expedition to Earth leaves next month, Sarah remarked, still amazed by how quickly things had progressed. Did you ever imagine, when you sent those distress signals into space, that it would lead to all this? Lizara's form shifted through patterns of contemplative blue. We prayed for salvation, but the universe gave us something far greater. It gave us partnership. Your chaos taught us that true harmony isn't about maintaining perfect order. It's about finding balance and change. The impact of their collaboration rippled far beyond Nova Crystallis. Earth scientists were already applying Norveri crystalline principles to solve problems that had plagued humanity for centuries. Clean energy production, environmental restoration, even medical treatments were being transformed by the marriage of crystal harmonics and human innovation. The Galactic Council has approved our joint application, Maya announced, entering the hall with a group of Norveri resonators. The lieutenant had become the lead researcher in human-Norvery hybrid technologies, her understanding of both systems making her invaluable to the ongoing collaboration. We're officially recognized as the first successful human-alien technological merger in known space. But perhaps the most profound changes were cultural. The Norvery, who had once sought perfect harmony above all else, learned to embrace uncertainty and change as paths to growth. Humans, often driven by the need to conquer and control, discovered the power of working in concert with natural forces rather than against them. In the depths of the planet, the core pulsed with steady power, its new resonance patterns a constant reminder of what could be achieved when different approaches found common ground. The hybrid crystals that had saved their world continued to evolve, developing properties that neither species had imagined possible. "We're picking up signals," one of the human technicians announced from his station. "More civilizations out there, facing their own crisis. Some of them might need what we've learned here." Sarah turned to Lazara, seeing her own excitement reflected in the first speaker's crystalline form. "What do you think? Ready to share our chaos harmony with the rest of the galaxy?" Lazara's form brightened with anticipation. "I think it's time to answer some prayers." The great crystal spires of Nova Crystallis reached toward the stars, no longer broadcasting distress signals, but messages of hope and invitation. In the space around the planet, ships of both species prepared for joint missions of exploration and aid. The hybrid technology they had created together would soon touch worlds far beyond their own, spreading the lesson they had learned: that sometimes the universe's greatest gifts come not in the form we expect, but in the challenge to become something more than we are. As the first joint expedition prepared to depart, carrying both human crew and Norvery resonators, they added a new verse to the ancient Norvery prayer songs. It spoke not of desperate pleas for help, but of the unexpected ways salvation could come, through chaos and harmony, through difference and unity, through the courage to embrace change, and the wisdom to learn from those unlike ourselves. The legacy of Nova Crystallis would echo across the galaxy, a testament to what could be achieved when two vastly different species dared to imagine a future greater than either could create alone.